Welcome to the Disneyville podcast, episode 28.
Okay, I am gushing right now. I have never been more excited to film a podcast episode than I am today. This idea, this topic is vastly interesting to me, and I could do this video on repeat every month.
So a few days ago, a memo comes across my desk. It's from Jessica Braun, and she's like, we have to do this as our next episode. And I'm like, okay. And I find it to be a little bit interesting, a little bit entertaining. She has gone off the deep end with this idea. You love this idea.
I'm already like, I might do it on my other channel for like makeup or something. Like, I am into this idea.
I'm loving it. I love how excited you are about this idea.
Should I try to explain it, or did you had some light housekeeping?
I do have one light housekeeping thing, and then we'll delve into to the meat of the episode. So if you watch this on YouTube versus just listening to it, you'll notice that behind us we have this beautiful shelf. When I hung up this beautiful shelf, there's a screw that goes in from the bottom, and my drill accidentally hit the wall. Now, we've talked about this several times. This little dot has become a part of our family. Now, I have promised...
Like a little tornado.
It does. It really does. So I had promised that before our next episode, I would get that painted because it was driving people crazy. I did not do that, but I told
you guys to hold him to it.
I am a man of my word, and so we're going to do it live on air. Here we go. He
didn't tell me that he was going to do this until about a minute before recording.
Well, I came down. I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to do that. And I was like, well, I'll just do it really fast. And I thought, no, we're about to hit the record button. Let's give the people what they want.
They want this. They need this.
Man, I hope this is the right color. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. No, stop.
These marks from. Okay. The Disneyville podcast, the only operating podcast that lets you literally watch paint dry.
Yeah. Okay. Can I explain what this episode is? All right. Some of you guys will have heard of this topic or this idea. Some, it might be a little bit newer to you with how we're using this idea specifically. So I'm going to do my best. I was practicing in the car.
Oh, wow.
I was practicing how to explain it because I'm like, it is kind of like confusing. I have
a backup explanation if this doesn't work.
Okay. So the idea of today's video is so excited. Okay.
I'm not going to stamp on that excitement. Let's let it roll. Let's go, girl.
I'm crying. Okay, why am I crying?
I don't know.
All right. I got to hold it together. Okay.
Boy, that paint looks
Happy
nice.
tears, not weird, sad tears. Okay. All right. This is a chaotic episode already. If you're listening, especially, you're like, what is even going on? Okay,
I think
nothing is going on. Okay. The idea is that we are creating this Disney Park Lover iceberg. And so if you were to picture a picture of an iceberg, which if you're watching, you can see it, we'll also post our actual completed iceberg to our Instagram, which is Disneyville Podcast. So if you want to see what we're talking about, you can see it there.
And we'll post a blog post as well. So if you ever go to the welcome to Disneyville.com, we also have a blog if you guys are ever interested, and we'll have a blog post about this too, and it'll have the infographic or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So the idea is that obviously at the top of an iceberg is the least complex. Let's say we're talking about specifically Disney park lovers, the most baseline surface level person that is into Disney parks. And the farther you get, and of course, you know, an iceberg, most of it, what is it? 80% of it's underwater, whatever I have no idea.
Yeah.
Most of it's underwater. So as you get deeper, you're getting deeper into like a Disney park lover, and like how deep, dark, obsessed do you go?
Right.
And so we've basically brainstormed together and created all of the different qualities or things they might do or say at the varying levels of a Disney park lover. I promise it'll make more sense as we get farther in. We tried to explain it on our Instagram because we got some input from you guys, which we'll share at the end, and I cannot wait.
I know.
I cannot wait to read what you guys share for like surface level and like deep, dark, obsessed.
Yeah.
What was your backup in case that didn't make sense?
It is an iceberg, and obviously you start at the top and you go down, but basically it is a scale or a spectrum of how deep of a Disney parks lover are you. But more specifically, Walt Disney World. It's Disney parks in general, but it's kind of Disney World. But
some of them are definitely world specific.
Yeah, it's just a scale to see how deep of a Disney parks lover are you.
Yeah. So if you check them all
off,
you're in deep with us, buddy.
So one thing to keep in note is that we are guilty of, I'm pretty sure, every single thing on this list.
100%. I was working off of my own working knowledge.
Right, exactly. So don't Don't be offended. Don't take offense if we poke fun at you. But this is like the different levels of like, you know.
A Disney park lover.
Yeah, all right.
Now listen, we are guilty of all of them. And we go down deep, baby. And if you feel like we're making fun of you, it means we're making fun of ourselves too. So this is all done with love because obviously we are all mad here. Okay.
Okay. So this is your project. You start.
Okay. All right. Tippy top of the iceberg, maybe even in the sky before you even hit the iceberg, okay, would be the Disney park lover that they've gone more than once. This is their second or third trip. They're into it. They're like, okay, I get it. Like, I am totally into it. We're going again. And they now know from all the mistakes they made the first or second time. They're like, okay, I know how the lightning lane system works. Got those made. I know that you've got to have dining reservations. I've got those. Maybe they've even secured a hard to get one. They're in the know. They're like, all right, I get it. I understand why people love it. And now I know how the system works. And they are proud of it. And you know what? They should be because it's a lot.
Yep. So that's okay. You go down a little bit further on this iceberg. Those are the people who won't shut up about Dole Whip. It's Dole Whip everything. That is the only thing that they care about. You bring up Walt Disney World, they're going to bring up Dole Whip.
They are going to find a way to sneak it into the conversation. Have you had it? Oh, have you had the float version?
Oh, yeah. They have the pineapple. They have
twist.
the twist.
Oh, I love the twist. I actually do love the
twist.
Love
the twirl.
Hate the twirl.
Lose the twirl. I might do the twirl. It's not even a twirl. It's a spin.
Okay. Another, I feel like, early entry into the Disney park lover world. They start to learn a little bit more about the parks. So they're like telling maybe the people that are in the parks with them or whatever, did you know about the Utilidors that are under Magic Kingdom here? Yeah, it's this tunnelways. Cast members use them. And back in the day, the reason they were created is because you didn't want to see an astronaut walking through Adventureland, you know? And that, and again, the reason I think this was so fun to make was because this felt like going through our own history of falling in love with Disney parks. And boy, I mean, I could have done this I could do so many more.
Also, I have some questions for cast members. I feel like recently, in the last couple of years, I am seeing some spacemen and cowboy areas. Like,
okay,
what is going on with that?
I'm like, guys, get down to the Utilidors.
Like, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe just more direct, but I'm like, I never used to notice that. But a couple times recently, I'm seeing that.
Seeing
I'm
a
like,
little Tomorrowland
you
over
don't belong here. Is this the fastest way to the cast member parking? Is that where this?
I don't blame you, but But yeah, also I wonder, are the Utilidors like, is it cooler down there? Is it warmer down there? You know?
I would assume it's cooler. I assume it's air conditioned,
I hope so.
right?
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
Yeah, no, it has to be.
It has to be. That'd be insane.
We need to do the Keys to the Kingdom tour.
I know.
Yeah. And then on that same vein. Yeah.
Just another thing, usually when you're first starting to get into it, you know about the Main Street windows. You know, did you know that these windows are all people that help build the parks, Imagineers, you know, all that. You start getting into those, I think, a little more surface level knowledge, but still interesting nonetheless. You know? So then,
actually, maybe this one should have gone a little bit higher, but the people who go to the parks wearing matching tees, I actually think that should have been a little bit higher because most people, not now, I will say we've worn our fair share of matching tees over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But even recently, we wore some matching tees. Yeah. But that said, I feel like most people that wear matching tees, it's like their first trip.
Yeah, like they're like, okay, it's Kinley's going to kindergarten, so we're going to, I don't know, Kinley's kindergarten crew. So I just feel like you're right. Maybe it is more of but it's still surface level. Like it's still above. Right, we've totally done matching tees even recently.
But I was just thinking, I think it should have been maybe even higher. Like that's almost like first trip to Disney style.
Or you go to Disney the first time. This is how I view it. You go to Disney for the first time and you see all these people matching tees. You're like, okay, next time we are doing it. And we are ordering them in time. They're going to be on Etsy and it's going to be amazing. Boy, they have so many Disney things on Etsy. It's crazy. Yeah. I love it. Another thing, kind of on the same vein, same level, is these people definitely know the best fireworks viewing spots, best places to watch the parade. They know where the parade comes out now. They know where it goes. They know the route. Mm-hmm. They're ready. They've got sandwiches. They're waiting for an hour, and they've got their spot.
Yeah. And they're going to tell you about it, too. Like, oh, when you guys go, be sure to stand here in the hub right in front of the castle.
Yeah.
Best view.
Yeah. And you know what? And there won't be anyone around. Right in the center, dead center.
You have to be there at 6 a.m. the day before, but if you just stand there right in front of the partner statue, great view.
Mm-hmm. Again, I do feel like we're being mean, but like we went through all these stages and we love it. I love it all. Nothing makes my heart happier than when someone I know goes to Disney maybe for the first or second time and comes back to tell me about it and tells me all these things. And of course, I know way too much, but they don't know my level of knowledge. And so it's so endearing and it's so wonderful because to see that like raw, fresh love, I'm like, oh, yes.
There it is.
Let me drink it up.
Yeah. He got bit by the bug, the Disney bug. Exactly. But it's funny because this is all kind of funny stuff. But then as we get deeper into this, it gets really very specific, and Disney parks lovers are like the bottom of this list. Okay, so sort of on the same vein, hidden Mickeys. People are going to be very into hidden Mickeys. They start to learn about them. They start to find them, and they get the book, the unofficial guide or whatever, and start to count them and all that kind of stuff. Like that's very much in your early career. And I mean,
that's right.
I do have a few favorite hidden Mickeys. So
yeah, I couldn't name a single one. When I know them when I see them. I don't know specifically like where, but you know what? That's still fun with kids.
Oh, yeah.
It's still fun even now. But yeah, once you first learn about it, you can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Talking about it. Another thing you may do if you're still new to this is you collect pins, but you don't trade them. And that's important for a later one. I have to say, I actually fall in this category where I collect pins, but I don't trade them. They're all meaningful to me. I don't want to get rid of any of them.
Yeah. I have no intent to trade any of mine.
I know.
I like them all.
I know. I think people buy like trader pins and trade those, but I don't know. But yeah, any one that I've bought is not leaving out of my clutches.
No, never. Gonna be buried with those pins. Okay, so then this is the last like surface level Disney thing. So they have an ongoing list of things to try on their next park visit. Yeah. So like they know they're going, they love it. They've been bitten by the bug. They're going back. Mm-hmm. They've got a list. Okay, next time we come back, we're doing Lanuba. That's been on the list for about 12 years for us.
It'll close before we ever get around to seeing
it's not in Lanuba anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's been Lanuba forever.
Drawn to Life.
Drawn to Life now, yeah. So still on our list to get done.
I guess we never saw Lanuba.
Yeah. I wonder if that's on YouTube. We'd have to look that up.
I feel like we saw Lanuba.
Mm-mm. I've never set foot inside that pavilion.
Drawn to Life will close before we see that, too.
I hope not.
No, I hope not, too.
All right, so now we're getting to the surface. And we're going to start going... Now you're
breaking the surface.
Yeah, we're going to start going down. Baby, are you down, 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 down?
So now you're getting deeper. If you're planning out your Disney outfits, you have enough Disney-specific gear to plan out like, okay, I've got a Disney shirt for every day. Or you're Disney bounding, so you're like, okay, this day I'm going to be Rapunzel, so I'm going to wear purple and yellow, and this day I'm going to be Mickey and wear red and black and white. You are planning what you're wearing. Mm-hmm. And I love it.
So you're also going to spend time resort hopping. You know what I mean? You've maybe stayed at a couple different resorts. You've liked them. You've done enough of the parks. You're like, okay, I want to see what else Disney World has to offer. So you're willing to take time out of your precious Disney time to go resort hop, whether that's just a monorail loop or whether you're going to be starting to take boats and buses to get where you need to go. You're going to start resort hopping just to go around and just to explore the resorts. Like you're going to take time. You could be at your own resort hanging out by the pool, but you're like, no, I want to go check out these other resorts.
I love it. We spent a lot of time, I want to say by like our third or fourth, fifth trip-ish, breaking the surface where we were doing that. We were like, we're going to go, and it would be planes, trains, and automobiles to get there between certain resorts, but we'd go resort hop to Port Orleans or wherever.
Just to see it, yeah.
Just because we hadn't seen it. We wanted to see it. We weren't staying there, and
walking
so
around
much fun. Going to get a coffee.
Yeah.
Get a beignet. Oh, I love it. Getting into the surface level knowledge, you may know about Poop River, which is...
I would like to say that she even told me this, and I was like, oh, I knew this, but I've never heard it called this, but apparently this is a thing now going around.
Yeah, it's just where when you're walking through Liberty Square, they intentionally have more of like a brown river-looking thing in the cement, and it's because, of course, back in those days, a lot of the excrement would just be like thrown out in the middle of the...
Thrown out in a bucket.
That's right.
Hope for the rain.
Like a little teeny tiny canal.
Wash it out.
Yeah. And that, as far as I know, Disney was intentional with that.
Yeah.
Like they made it that color.
Yeah.
So, I mean... The name is pretty good.
I don't know if they still do this. They used to have leather straps holding up the shutters and stuff like that because back then they used to actually use leather straps to hold your shutters on your... So like they did that. So like they're not all even. They're kind of hanging off a little bit.
I think that's still how
they still do that. So I haven't checked that in a while. But like that kind of stuff.
That kind of knowledge.
You're starting to get into like the Disney, like, okay, what did the Imagineers think when they were building Liberty Square.
Yeah,
or
what things were intentional.
Right.
Oh, I love it. And now you know the name, Poop River. You heard it here first, folks.
Not to be confused with the poop wall. Okay. Listens to Disney podcasts or watches Disney vlogs. Hello.
Oh, hello. That's you. If you are listening to this, that is you. You're at least that deep.
Although there's always people who are like, I've never been to Disney. I don't want to go to Disney, but I listen to your podcast anyway.
Listen, if you've listened to it this long, you may have been bitten by the bug.
Right. 28 episodes in.
No.
Yeah.
I hope you're planning a future trip.
So you're getting to that point where you're about halfway down. You're really starting to get into the like you want the vibes at home. You want to just sit like and hear the sounds of the parks. You want to just be like,
oh, you got into that.
It's gonna go on a whole big monologue. Never mind. Okay.
No, I'm into it. Do it. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm
monologue
good.
Away.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
All right, you save it.
Save that energy for later.
Okay. So earlier, when you were surface level, you wouldn't shut up about Dole Whip. Now you won't shut up about spring rolls. Guilty. That is like the new hotness. Okay. That is the new hotness is the spring rolls. And they've been around now for a few years and they are so freaking good. And we literally get them every time. And I'm the one that won't shut up about them.
They're so good though.
But I love the idea of a hierarchy of like food, like Dole Whip. And now we're at spring rolls.
Okay. So this is the next one. So you start to use cast member lingo. You're not satisfied with the guest lingo. So you're going to be like, oh, there's a plaid walking by. Or like, oh, I wonder what track they're on. Are they on the Tinkerbell track?
I was friends with Alice.
Yeah, I was friends with Winnie the Pooh. So, you start to throw in all those things.
You've got so many friends.
So you start to use that cast member lingo because you overhear somebody using it and you're like, I'm going to start using that. Or you watch somebody on YouTube who used to be a cast member who brings it up, that kind of stuff. You're start to really delve in. I'm like, I'm in the know. I know the lingo and everything.
I'm cool. We're cool. Super cool. Okay, this is awfully specific, but this was part of my journey. If you're in this deep, you probably started reading, if you're into YA novels, young adult, Kingdom Keepers. Ever heard of it? I read the first one and then maybe the next one because they're literally novels. And again, it's chapter books. Like they're novels, but they're definitely geared towards
middle schoolers, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I would say.
Well, nonetheless, I read the first one and then I think I started the second one. And I was like, okay.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I think that's probably what most people do. But it's super fun because they're these novels set in Disney parks. And there's like villains and they talk about being like on certain rides after dark and going backstage. Like it's honestly like actually genuinely a joyride to read, but it's definitely geared towards.
Well, here's what's funny though. I feel like I read the first one and I kept thinking so much of this doesn't make sense. And I don't know what it was. Now I can't remember. This was a couple of years ago, but I'm like, I was really excited to read them. I'm like, there'd be quick, fun books to read, but there were so many plot holes and so many things that I'm like, well, I don't know. It just didn't add up. And I kind of started to read the second one and that didn't add up either. So I'm like, I just gave up.
You know what? 2 plus 2 did not equal 4.
And so, but they have, I don't know, he's got 7 or 8 of them. There's a lot of them. Yeah. But I guess the guy who wrote them wrote all of them. And then so much, Disney parks are always updating and changing. He went back and updated them. And so I think I was reading the updated version. And I think that's why things weren't clicking
that would be so hard to do.
Because like certain rides weren't there anymore and stuff like that. I don't know.
I feel like that would be really quite an undertaking for him to go back.
Yeah.
Almost leave it as a piece of Disney lore and like leave it alone. But I guess then I don't know. That's wild.
I kind of figured when I stopped, I was like, okay, our girls, when they get to be older, if they want to read them, I'll read them at the same time. Maybe I'll pick them back up then because then it's something we can talk about and like enjoy it that way. But I'm like, I'm not going to read these now because I couldn't get into it, even though I really wanted to. Made me want to do it myself, but I was like,
write your own book?
Like write my own, yeah. But I don't know. But anyway,
I could see you pulling that off.
Yeah, maybe.
You're a good writer.
But that was, I just think, something I'll pick back up in the future, and maybe it'll make more sense the second time around.
And if it doesn't, you just write your own version.
Kingdom get rid of hers.
Kingdom keepers, kingdom losers. That's me.
Okay, so this is another one kind of on the same vein as my last one. Listens to Disney parks music, specifically in your car. We're talking Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. We're talking...
Wait.
That's not,
I was thinking of Epic Starts.
Also, if you listen to it, you got to listen to the original one with the guy who becomes the grandpa, Rex Harrison. No, not Rex Harrison.
Rex Allen.
Rex Allen. Is that what it is?
Right.
He's now the grandpa in the Carousel of Progress. He was the original voice of it. And it was this great, big, sweeping orchestral. It was so good. So, like, you got to listen to, like, the 1960s version.
Not the version.
Then the, Bug's Life ride show.
You just said so many times.
I know. I'm trying to think. I'm losing my mind over here. What is
what were we watching yesterday? We're halfway through. Oh, no, it was Whose Line Is It Anyway? And at one point, one of them was stammering through whatever, and the other one said, I stopped listening about a minute ago.
Colin Mockery. He was just all, like, he
was all over the place.
Nothing he was saying made any sense. And Ryan Stiles just said, I stopped listening about a minute ago.
That's how I just felt. Start over. What?
What's the song that they sing in Animal Kingdom?
Oh.
The Bug's Life song, but it's... we're pollinators. That song, like, that's going to be on your playlist. You're going to be listening to, of course, Fantasmic. Mm-hmm. You might even throw Wishes in there if you're going to get a little crazy. Some Happily Ever After. But like, you're going to have like some ride through just the soundtracks on your Disney Parks playlist. Yep. You're going to have like the ambient music. You know what I mean? You might have to go to YouTube for that or something like that.
I do that.
Sorcerer Radio where they just do like the ambient. Like,
it's not even just ambient. Sometimes
like
they'll do but
songs.
they'll do like ride specific songs too. But
I feel like you're walking down Main Street.
Sorcerer Radio.
Wow.
Anyway, that would have been a good one to have on there. Listens to Sorcerer Radio. It's basically the same.
I know my friend Tony does. He listens to Sorcerer Radio a lot.
I love that. Maybe that's where we heard of it from, and then I
think so. Yeah. Oh, so good.
If you're a fan at this level, you probably now spend more time at the resorts than you do the parks. Kind of like earlier we were talking about, you're more willing to, use precious park days, some of that time to be at your hotel, whether it's your own hotel or resort hopping. But I definitely feel like once you get deeper into the Disney park love, you do spend more time at the resorts because you've seen so much of the parks anyway. Mm-hmm. You spend a few hours there, but then you just go enjoy the resort. You do the movies under the stars, the campfire, sing-along, pool time, because you start to realize, oh my gosh, the resorts, every single one of them offers so much. It's genuinely overwhelming. Or maybe you're doing mini golfing. You're doing some of the other stuff that in a normal trip you probably wouldn't spend time doing because you're trying to get the most of your money, especially if you have tickets for each day and all that. I feel like on the same level, we didn't write it on there, but annual pass holders would be around here. This might be where you entertain the idea. It depends on how often you go, obviously, but you might entertain the idea of an annual pass.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So around this level, you're going to start to want more Disney at home. So you're listening to your music in the car. Mm-hmm. You're also going to start ordering Joffrey's coffee, the Disney resort specific ones. Like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get that one for the Polynesian, the Sanaa. Specific restaurants, the Yachtsman Steakhouse, they have one. Like, you're going to have that, and you're going to need that at home. Now, do you drink enough of those specific blends at the parks to have the taste memory? Probably not, but you're going to go ahead and pretend that you do.
100% you will, and we have, and we do. We haven't bought Joffrey's in a while. We need to. But yeah, you get really into Joffrey's. One of my favorite things is to watch an argument ensue online of people saying Joffrey's is better than Starbucks, and other people like, no, it's not, and back and forth. I love both, so I don't have to pick. So at this point, you may be collecting pins, but you're also trading. So now you've gone down and you're like, I have spent thousands of dollars on pins. And you're like, I want to start trading. I want to be a part of that life. You see the people in the parks that will have like tons of pins, or they'll have, I'm being genuine. One day I want to have one of those pin backpacks where I can put my favorite pins, but they're protected. They're like inside.
Yeah. Because I'd be so nervous.
But again, I don't want to trade them. But now you're down the rabbit hole of you're buying trader pins for cheaper. You're bringing those and trading. You're collecting by category. This is all a new world to me, okay? I did not realize how pin trading really looked to like someone that really does it. Mm-hmm. You collect certain categories. You might be like, okay, I'm collecting all Winnie the Pooh characters, or I'm collecting they have certain lines and collections they launch, and you're getting the mystery pins. Like, you are in that pin world and you are serious about it. That's
like
all.
Ours always have something specific to do with a specific trip. Like,
like when I was pregnant, we bought like a Dumbo's mom pin. It was, you know what I mean?
Or to be specific, like we got one when Toy Story Land opened and it was a Toy Story pin, or a specific resort that we stay in. We always try and get a pin for that. So like, it's always that kind of thing. But I didn't think about doing like entire categories.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But people will, I want to get actually in this room. I don't know if we'd have them on camera or not. Get like a cork board or two and actually put my pins on there. Because for now we have like a binder.
Yeah.
And I only only have half of them in there. We just have like bags of pins. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I want to
actually organize it.
And look at them. I want to be able to appreciate them.
That's it. It's sort of like our magnet collection. Like we have magnets when we travel. We always try and collect a magnet. And it's always, I love looking at them, but we need a place to actually like be able to see them.
Yeah.
If they're just sitting in a box, it's not really serving much of a purpose. So at this level, you might start thinking about some DVC, and people that are into DVC are very into DVC. People love DVC.
If you're DVC, you've sunk some serious money,
serious cash
into it. So you really should be into it.
Yeah, we've looked into it a couple times, and it's never made financial sense to us to do it, even as often as we go. But between having like just the generic discounts that come out, and then we already have annual passes, because the thing with us with DVCs, you still have to buy annual passes. The other big thing is you don't get housekeeping. Like we like to be cleaned each day.
Yeah, I know.
So like there's just certain things that are kind of drawbacks for us, but
it's also just a lot of money. And we also do, as much as we love Disney, we
travel elsewhere. Yeah,
elsewhere. So it's kind of one of those things that we're like, we don't want to feel like we always have to go to Disney. Now, do we still always go to Disney? Yes.
Somehow we manage.
You get what I'm saying. It just never made fiscal sense. Maybe one day we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. Now we're getting deeper. Okay. We're farther down. And
we're only about halfway through this list. We got to pick up the pace.
All right.
Lady.
We're going to pick up the pace. You're starting to complain that Figment, this is a personal fave. Figment's too mainstream, too popular now. Okay. You're mad because you loved Figment before anyone else cared about Figment. And you're mad that now those Figment popcorn buckets went off like crazy. And now everyone's obsessed with Figment. And you're thinking, where were you when I loved this ride and it sucked? And now you're on the same ride.
Yeah.
No, I
used to love that band before anybody loved them. Now other people like them, and I hate them. How dare they be successful?
Trust, this has all crossed my mind before because I've loved Figment for a long time. And as it's become popular recently, I'm like, what? Like, no.
Yeah. When I went for
I'm very happy for Figment. He deserves the fame, the glory.
When I went for my travel agent training, I was there by myself, and I bought you a Figment doll. That was in like 2016. So like that's how, and you already really loved Figment by that point. So if you don't go back at least that far,
I mean,
people on here are like, I've loved him since 1988. So
since before you were born, little missy. When it was the old one, the Dreamfinder.
All right, now this one is very specifically me, although this is not a good example.
Okay.
Typically,
yeah.
I only wear like deep Disney merch. Now, if I'm in the parks, it's a little bit different. So, I mean, obviously, this is terrible
be more
example.
For those only listening, he is wearing the loudest Disney shirt you've ever seen, ever.
It's bright. It's colorful.
It's got every character on it. I mean,
this is a bad example, but most of the time I like really, really like very subtle Disney nods that like it would just look like a shirt with like a little thing on it, or like a little tiny Mickey, or it'd have like a very specific reference to something that unless you get it, like you get it or you don't, that's the kind of stuff. So like you're going to start looking at, because you want to see what other people are like, oh, like, hey, nice shirt. Like, yeah,
I get it.
Get it. Yeah. When I launch my line of Disney shirts,
which we're getting serious about, you guys.
I have a list of Disney shirts that I'm going to make, and they all are very deep Diz.
I want a Disneyville podcast sweatshirt. Okay. I got to find, well, anyway, we're getting serious about that idea.
It's going to happen.
Hopefully in the next, hopefully
now
soon.
and 2030.
We'll let you know, hopefully soon. You also, at this point, have specific festival favorites. Not only do you have a favorite festival that they do, and you will fight tooth and nail if someone says that their favorite festival is better than your festival. Food and wine. I was going to say food and garden. What?
Flower and garden.
Basically, all
Festival
of those. What's the art one?
Festival of the Arts.
That one's so fun too. You now have a favorite festival, okay? And you also have favorite specific food items that when you hear someone's going to Disney, you're like, oh, you have to try the empanadas at whatever. You've got to try the pau de queijo or whatever. You're in the know. You're getting real deep now.
And you're like, oh, okay, so I know what dates you're going. Okay, the Butterfly Garden exhibit's going to be there. Be sure to check that out. You know what I mean? You've got it all down. You're starting to know too much. My agents actually just did a Battle of the Festivals thing recently. It's a video. I can link it below. But if you're curious about all the different Epcot festivals, they just did, like, each one of them took a specific festival and then they ranked them. So that's fun. So if you like this, you might enjoy that too. You're going to want some Disney stuff at home.
You started like 6 of them like
you're
that.
You're listening to your Disney music in the car. You're buying your Joffrey's coffee, but you're also going to be buying some Disney scents. Meaning you're going to have some Disney candles. You're going to have some Disney... what are those essential oils to put in your diffusers to make it smell like it's the lobby of the Boardwalk Resort?
Or the Pirates ride. You're like, why does it smell like smoke?
I don't like this at all. I thought I'd want this. Or
it's too much.
You know, the Rome burning. That's, you know, all these very specific Disney scents. We've had a couple that, like, I swear, we would walk in.
Spot on.
And it would smell like a Disney resort hotel. It's been so long since we've done this.
I know we need to order some more because I have so loved when we've had them. They also have like one of the companies does like pins inside theirs. Honestly, they're usually like good trader pins. They're actually kind of cute. Now, because you love the Disney park so much, you've started looking into like the way Disney used to be. So for example, let's just take Disney Springs, or should I say Downtown Disney? Or should I say Pleasure Island? Or should I say, actually, what was it originally
Disney
called?
Village.
Thank you. I was like, anyway, Pleasure Island was just a part of anyway, so you now know about the way things used to be. And not only do you know, like, oh, this part used to be Pleasure Island, and that you've read articles, you've seen videos of what it used to look like. I recently was looking at schematics made to show what the Adventures Club that used to be at Downtown Disney looked like. I wish I could have seen that with my own eyes. Yeah. So yeah, Disney Quest, remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you've gone down the rabbit hole of knowing about those things, or maybe you experienced them yourself, which is awesome. And you've even like looked up videos, read articles. You needed to know more.
I have a book, like it's I think it's Disney Parks Maps, and it's so fun to look through them, and you're like looking at where things
like over
used
the years?
to be. Yeah. And seeing like, oh, they moved that ride to make this okay, that's really cool. So like seeing how that all sort of used to factor in, it's really cool. And like looking at the overlay. Cool. Okay, so you're gonna want some Disney at home. So you're drinking your Joffrey's coffee, you're listening to your Disney music, you've got your Disney candle burning. You're also going to be reading WDW Magazine or something similar. We have a subscription to WDW Magazine, and it's a great magazine.
It's a beautiful
magazine.
They
do a great job with it. But it's like this big glossy, and they've got beautiful pictures and pretty good articles and stuff like that. So, you know, it's going to help you take care of that fix while you're
It scratches
away.
that itch for sure.
When you're
we
away
have a
from the
stack
parks.
over on my nightstand right now. I was wanting
Last
to flip
couple
through.
issues, yeah.
That's actually where I learned about the Adventurers Club. Like where I learned the most about it.
They did a good article on that, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was a great article. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. We've got some additional ones. If you go a little deeper into Disney history, now you're at the point where you know about like extinct and defunct places. So not something that was just changed, but places that were just, let's just say, abandoned. For example, River Country. I was obsessed with looking into River Country stuff for way too long.
Yeah.
On that vein too, Discovery Island, they're literally right across from each other. There have been like urban explorers, if you will, that have like gotten caught going over there and going through, and people have said that like the music was still on and electricity still worked at River Country. Then they were going to build recently a hotel in the spot of River Country, and then that got scrapped.
I think D23 is coming up. I have a very high suspicion they're going to say they're doing that again. I think. We'll see.
We'll see. Nonetheless, if you're into that, look into those if you don't know of them. It is just absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the very first things we put on this list. And I think it's the most telling. When you sit down and you start to reminisce about Stacy, who used to be,
you're a goner.
That's it. You're done for. Because that means that you remember when they used to have on TV, you would turn on the TV in your hotel room, and it would be this do not miss in Disney parks, whatever.
Must do Disney.
Must do Disney. And it was this woman named Stacy who hosted it. And she hosted it for years. And like they would update it every once in a while, and she'd go back in. But there were certain things that we could like verbatim, like we still go classic. And it was, I don't know what it was she was talking about, but like just one of those things that she would say Like, oh, we're going down this hill.
Because it would repeat every, let's say, 30 minutes or 20 minutes. And so we'd be getting ready in our hotel room in Disney and listening to it. And so you're just hearing the same thing on a loop, and it's the best.
But also, like, it was the first thing we did when we got there, turned that on, and it made you so excited. Like, we're here, man. We are officially here. This is like pre-YouTube. Like, you couldn't find this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? The only place you could watch Stacy was in a Disney Parks hotel.
That's right. That's right. And now, of course, YouTube.
So this one, it's technically your turn, but I'm going to take this. You've read at least one, but probably multiple books by Jim Korkis or somebody similar. There are so many good books now. There's the Thinking Fan's Guide to Epcot and Magic Kingdom. Ooh. So Jim Korkis used to work for Disney, and he now writes these books he's got a bunch about like Disney movies and stuff like that, but he's like a Disney historian, and he goes through all these deep things he's got a great one about all the Disney resorts. He's got different things about the Disney parks. There's so many of them out there now. Hidden Magic of Walt Disney World by Susan Van Ness.
Oh my gosh. We have like all the updated versions, like every time. I love that.
There's like Disney trivia books, but you're like going down, and that's when you really start to know like all the really nitty gritty details of like, okay, well, Wilderness Lodge was built. Did you know that, it's not even just like Main Street. You're getting really deep down into the weeds. You're getting into the weeds with Jim Korkis.
That. Jim Korkis. Jim the Weeds Korkis. Okay. So again, back to what I was talking. I'm exposing how much I love this. Now we're nearing the bottom, you guys. Okay. We're in the deep. And at this point, you are so into Disney history and the way things used to be, because it's not enough to know about the Disney that is today and to experience it and to ride the rides and try the food. You need more, okay? And so you've run out of things. So you're like, let me just keep digging deeper. Now you're watching channels like Defunct Land, where he does these like 90-minute deep dives into very, very specific, a lot of times Disney, not always, but a lot of times Disney specific topics. I think he's done stuff on like some of the abandoned places like River Country and all that, which is probably how I found that channel. It's a big channel now. It's got like 2 million, but point is you are into that. You're looking into articles, you're watching the very long documentary style videos.
Truly down a rabbit hole on YouTube of these extinct places, because there are people out there, man, and they do a good job. Like they do some really good research and really, they're like documentarians, truly.
Yeah.
What a world we live in. So cool.
Everything's at our fingertips, good, bad, and everything in between.
So this is kind of along the same lines as Stacy, but watches the Disney blue screen at home.
Do you know what that is?
Now they don't even, they don't even really do the blue screen, because now when you show up, it feels like welcome Braun family, and it's got whatever your resort is, like down at the bottom, and it kind of has, so like that's the new thing right now. Previous to that, in between Stacy, maybe it was around when Stacy was around too, they had the two.
Yeah.
Maybe they overlapped for a little bit.
Yeah.
But for a long time, Stacy was kind of gone, and they had the Disney blue screen, and it would just literally have Disney music playing on a loop, like instrumental Disney music, and it would have like whatever that day's events were listed.
And like the park hours and the weather. They have it on YouTube, which is what we're talking about, like old ones from a few years ago. And you walked in on me the other day listening. I think I had it on my TV, Disney blue screen, as though I was in Disney. And I'm just working away while listening. And it's like, 5-year-old information about.
Yeah. It'll be a 3-hour loop. And it just,
It's the best.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're watching Stacy and Must Do Disney, or you're watching like the ambient, like Disney type
walkthroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gigi will watch those. Or like they just have the ones where it's like a kind of a moving picture of the castle. Like they obviously edited it. But it's playing, castle-y music, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. You see people walking through now, usually with like a DJI gimbal, and they're just walking by themselves.
And it's just the noise. Yeah.
Okay. We have 3 more. Won't shut up about Epcot in the 80s.
Also, we are guilty. And we weren't even there.
We weren't even there. We weren't alive. We didn't see it.
We just love the vibes.
It's all in our head. I'm kind of glad we didn't, because it probably wouldn't be as magical as what we have in our heads.
I actually disagree. I think it would be exactly as magical as we think.
But it's like, it is the quintessence of Disney World nerds that you're obsessed with Epcot in the 80s.
Yeah. And we are guilty of it. We totally love it. Like that one bathroom we talked about that's like hidden behind
the Imagination Pavilion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely has been like untouched since the 80s. It looks like the 80s. I feel like the music is still like it is.
So good.
And I love it.
All right. 2 more.
Okay, so now you are tired of watching blue screen and you've moved on to one of our favorite things in the world, which I have discovered are all on YouTube. I was just watching the other day after we mentioned it, I think in the last podcast episode. You are watching Disney vacation planning videos. If you recall, I didn't know this until I met you. You could order back in the 90s and even into the early 2000s. By then, of course, they were DVDs, but you could order for free these Disney vacation planning videos. And they would come in the mail and it would come with like some informational stuff too, like a map or some maps and stuff. Remember that one that looked like a treasure map? They would send that was like really nice. And it was kind of like what you'd watch in the hotel-ish, but more detailed. And it would go through all the different parks and what to expect and kind of help you plan your vacation. Now we've got, TikTok for that, but kidding.
Do not use TikTok as a planning tool, please.
Hey, there's some good tips though. People have good tips on there.
But it's the nostalgia factor of it too. Just the sound quality and the video quality. It just warms the heart.
Just the style, like the 90s garb.
I'm pretty sure I have almost every year because my mom ordered them growing up. And then starting in the early 2000s, I started ordering the DVDs. So, I mean, I have probably 15, 20 of these.
We would wait and keep checking when we were like, okay, they should be available now on the site.
Got a new one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I obviously all these videos, Disney has all these videos of themselves and they can put them online. But I'm like, there's something about having a one-stop shop like this DVD. I'm like, I still wish they did them. Like they've got all the videos still, but like, it's so cool. Good. They're so good.
They should just release on their YouTube channel, like, okay, this is the 2024 one. And it's like an hour long.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps you. Oh my gosh, Disney, if you're listening.
They're so good. All right, and then the final, deepest, darkest, you've gone off the deep end. There is no hope for you. You host a Disney podcast or have a Disney YouTube channel. Okay.
And we made it. All right, we asked you guys on our Instagram basically we asked 2 questions. One, what would you say is the most superficial, like early Disney park lover thing for your iceberg?
Surface level.
And then the deepest.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this. All right, so Tiffy Taffy XOX said, this is all, we'll start with the superficial, like top of the iceberg. Someone would match their outfits to the vibe of each park. So for example, she said a baby blue top in Animal Kingdom, no thank you. So you'd be going animal vibes in Animal Kingdom, baby blue maybe for Magic Kingdom, like you're getting into it.
Sarah Virginia _97 said, I feel like Chef Mickey's is a surface level thing. Everyone recommends it. That is very true. It is a very big deal to go to Chef Mickey's. And like we've talked about, it needs a little TLC. It needs a little love over there at Chef Mickey's. But that is one thing that a lot of people recommend.
And a lot of people just do in one of their earlier trips because it's like, it's nearby, it's at a hotel, but you can just use the monorail. Mickey's there, it's a buffet. You know what I mean? It kind of hits all the boxes of someone that's wanting to do character dining.
Right.
Our Power 029 said, so this is something that someone who's a new Disney park lover would say. Did you know you never have to get in a car if you're staying in a Disney resort?
Molly Joyner said, specifically referring to the Epcot ball by her government name, Spaceship Earth.
That's Mrs. Spaceship Earth to you. Brianna Tata said, Mickey-shaped food. It's the excitement, but after you try the pretzel, you never go back. You're like, it was okay.
Lot of purple walls, a lot of Dole Whips.
The purple wall, yeah, that's definitely... Oh my gosh.
Okay, Ashley H. Turner said, paper maps and starting in Canada.
Whoops, we went to the right. Oh, that's incredible. Okay, Stanton Lauren said they would start to leave during the ending speech of Happily Ever After before the finale. Yeah, I could see that though, because like if it's your very first time, you're staying all the way to the end. But once you know, like, okay, we've seen this, and I know what the bus line or monorail or whatever is about to look like, you kind of have an idea like, okay, let's just leave a little bit early. So yeah, I would agree that would be like near the top, but you are starting to know some stuff.
Marzak Max Mom said, well, I watched Disney's Can Do Disney with Stacy for fun. You're our people. Was obsessed with watching in the hotel. Yep.
Love that. Tori Turtle said, I love your name. I love that purple dragon at Epcot. Love that.
Pato Scano said Tower of Terror being painted and constructed to look like the Morocco Pavilion for sightlines. Like that, like the Forget Me Not Blue or whatever, the Forget the Sky Blue, whatever they call it. That kind of stuff is very like, oh, did you know that as you go from land to land, the music changes and you can't see things from other lands?
Or like the forced perspective of the, All right. Shall we go deeper?
All right, let's go deep.
All right. Some of you guys put great ones for both, so you might hear your name twice, depending. Okay. Tiffy Taffy XOX said, you would know, like if you're in the deep, dark blue of the iceberg, you would know what's probably going to be announced at D23 3 days ahead of time. You've already done all the research. You already know.
Which is perfect because that's coming up here soon. Also, I find this very entertaining. Our audience has given us so many more deep.
I was about to say, this list
there was
is quadruple.
There was 18 or 20 on the surface level, and there's about 400 in the deep level.
And we only posted this an hour, maybe 2 hours ago.
Kate_2993 said, checking ride wait times when you're nowhere near close to the parks.
I'm in Ohio, but Morgan D. Silva said, and actually both her and Laura Ingleton said, she said watching POV ride videos a lot. And then Morgan said, does watching Disney POV walkthrough YouTube videos at least weekly count? Yes and yes.
Arlena said, knowing all the smells, the water rides, the lobby smells, the monorail stinkies. That's great.
I want a shirt that says, I love the monorail stinkies. Oh, the wording. Stanton Lauren said they would know the ribbon choreography in Fantasmic.
Also, there are a lot of people who have brought up that they check wait times when they're at home.
Okay. Krista said, stand in line for 5+ hours for a freaking Figment popcorn bucket. Yeah, that's a level I don't even understand because I would love it, but I would never wait 5 hours in line. No way. No. Lacey Hendershot said they would know the best bathroom locations. Wink. If you missed our bathroom episode, under this one, that was my favorite episode we've ever filmed. So if you need a good laugh.
Oh my gosh. I don't know that we've ever laughed that hard. That was.
That should have been on the iceberg, knowing the best bathrooms. Are you kidding me? Right. Literally, because we'll pass certain bathrooms that we mentioned are the worst. And even on our last trip, I was like, I have to go, but I'm not there. Not going in that one.
Kate 8 Cookies said, edit their Mears bus PDF confirmation with Magical Express photoshopping. Oh, that's great.
See someone do that. That is incredible. Okay, Travis Turley said, watching the VHS sing-along shows on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Especially the Disney Parks ones. The beach party one was filmed at the Grand Floridian, right?
The one they filmed at Fort Wilderness. There's
the camp one.
Yeah, camp. Oh my gosh.
Those are all on YouTube too. Actually, I think Disney Dan is the one that uploaded all of them.
I think so.
And then we happened to meet him recently, so it was one of those funny things. And I'm like, hey, we watched.
That's how we
watched.
Now he's got a big channel.
We've been watching those sing-along songs so much.
That's how we found out about him, though.
Yeah.
K Trogger 95 said, use a Cogsworth rubber spatula. Is it the best spatula? Absolutely not, but it makes me so happy.
I totally get that. Tay Smitty 5 says, decorating for each holiday the same day Disney does. That's the calendar I follow. Which that means you're decorating early because Disney, they're like, Halloween, let's go. Oh, man.
Okay, Mary Mactastic has two good ones. She said, talk about the Imagineers and the rides they created. You're going to talk about names.
Yeah.
And then not ride Runaway Railway in support of the Great Movie Ride.
Solidarity. That is...
I hate to break it to you. It's not coming back.
She gone.
That's great, though.
Okay, I love this. I'm reading said, watch Travel Day vlogs to Disney parks over and over again. As I said, Arrival Day and Travel Day to the parks videos are my favorite to watch. So I totally get it. Because it's you get to experience the excitement of going on the trip at the beginning that someone else is, you know what I mean? You get so that funny, rush.
Because I was always like, let's not even film it. Let's just pick up once we get there. And you were like, no, that's my favorite. And our Travel Day videos always do better than any of the other days in our trip. I don't know what it is. Yeah, they watch it
and they're like, ugh, I don't like these people. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I hope. All right, if you're deeper into Disney, you would know about Club 33 and Golden Oak. Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be mid to low iceberg, getting in there. You're deep down if you live in Golden Oak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
you also have to have deep pockets, baby. Riley Page Godwin said, crying and full body goosebumps over Happily Ever After on Spotify while driving to work. Also, I would add, if I redid the iceberg, I would add Lower Down was so upset when Happily Ever After was replaced and then cried happy tears when it came back.
Yeah.
Although I remember being so sad when Wishes was done. Wishes was so good. So.
Yeah.
All right. So we love to read a review at the end. And please feel free to leave us a review if you liked it. And if you didn't, don't. I'm just kidding. No, but you guys have left some of the sweetest reviews. So just recently, Nina Soon posted this review. She said, non-boring Disney podcast.
Hey, I'll take that.
It. She said, we love to hear it. I can never get enough Disney content. So you're down deep.
You're down with us.
Yeah.
Come on in. The water's fine.
We should make a shirt with this iceberg on it with all the... and it'll make no sense to anyone. Okay. Well, or just to us.
Yeah.
You guys and us. Anyway.
I always thought it'd be cool to have like citizens of Disneyville, like a small thing. And like if you're walking through the parks, be like, you're a citizen of Disneyville? Me too. Me too.
Okay. We love to hear it. I can never get enough Disney content, and some of the podcasts out there are a little snoozy. I thought it said snooty originally. Snoozy is way funnier. Thank you for talking about the most magical place on earth in an entertaining way, as it should be. Not everyone can do it. That was really nice. Thanks for keeping a fun place fun. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that wording.
Yeah.
Keeping a fun place fun since 2023. When did we start our podcast?
Something like that, yeah.
Keep it a happy place happy. Like, right? I feel like a lot of things that we've seen about Disney, people can get really negative, and it's like, listen, we're not all gonna love everything or every ride that gets all the decisions that are made that Disney makes, but it's like, I mean,
I've talked about this a lot, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say on it, is that a lot of these people, I'm like, well, you're a 40-year-old dude though, so maybe it's not for you.
Certain things Disney does, it's not just for
yeah. There's
us
things for
Disney
everybody.
adults.
But like maybe, that 6-year-old kid really likes Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. So maybe think about them next time you're complaining about everything Disney does.
Oh, I do miss the great movie.
Oh,
ride.
I do too.
I feel like it would be when people would complain about Moana, Journey of Water, and we loved it, but we're with our kids who absolutely loved it.
Love it.
And again, it's like at a certain point you have to ask, like, well, who is this created for? Like, everyone can enjoy it. But certain things are very clearly for kids. Like someone said something about the Remy's Ratatouille ride, and they were like, "It's not that thrilling." I'm like, okay, we can take our 2-year-old on it. It's not everything is meant to be Tower of Terror level or Flight of Passage level. Like some things are meant for younger people or just anyone.
Are you joyless? Anyway, okay.
Okay,
we're about to get out of the memory card. I would like to point out that our paint did dry.
Oh, it looks so good.
So remember, the Disneyville podcast, the only official podcast of watching paint dry. We'll see you guys next time.
Love ya. Bye.